Take a load off and relax now, 'cause we're drinking with Bronson.
I've heard of people, man. They do this whole fucking like long ass like podcast, and then they realize, oh, I forgot to, or my mic is muted, or I accidentally
Yep.
yep, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's out the window. But yeah, well, with your line of work, man, I honestly, I first saw your channel pop up when you talked about the whole Flesh and Blood. You did the sketch comedy where you opened up a bunch of like Monarch, and you're like, hey, long day, man. And then you came in,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
where's the couch? And
Where's the couch?
I watched that video so many fucking times. I can't believe how much comedy you put in like a minute time period. Like, how do you even think about that? It was like, it's too good.
It's just stuff that happens,
Yeah.
and
Is that
I
based
had,
on a true story?
well, I had just moved, and
Mhm.
so we didn't have a couch at the time,
Perfect.
so I didn't have to move anything. No, but just Magic, Flesh and Blood, TCGs, like it's just a thing, man. It's kind of there's like a lot of it's humor, but like there's a lot of little sadness and a little for me, because like these games like literally aren't for everybody anymore.
Hmm.
And
Well, what do
that
you expand on
so
that? What do you mean they're not for everyone? Like they're on the open
well,
market. Are they too expensive or?
yeah, I just think like there a lot of people are getting priced out of the games. I think that Flesh and Blood is a lot of good things are happening, where everyone's saying, "Oh, this or that about Flesh and Blood," but like anyone can get cards, and I think that's going to be a long-term like win
Well, you have a
for
great
me
point too.
personally.
I didn't think about like if you think about like substitutes, right? With the whole internet, like with the if you want to play video games online, like there's tons of free video games online, or you have these Steam sales that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can play all these games for a really cheap amount of price. But then you look at a competitive Flesh and Blood deck or Magic the Gathering or any card game, and you're like, oh, this is a $400 to $600 deck, and you're like, well, I can
And that,
play so many more games on my computer for free.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you're not just competing for market share, but like we have a finite amount of hours
yeah,
in a day to play games.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good point too. It's like if I have, if I have carved out 2 hours out of every day to play games, and X game costs $0, and this game costs a lot more than that. But
There's a
I've been playing card games since I was 10. So that's where part of that is coming back for me, is because it's nostalgia for me. It's just like, oh, when I go into card stores now, I don't see little me's in there. I see other big me's.
yeah.
Like it's like it's
Well,
uh,
that's why we have MetaZoo coming out, man. It's getting the smaller age
dude.
group.
MetaZoo's on fire, dude.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do
Gameplay is
good.
a little, iffy, but if it get, dude, honestly, my real feeling is I hate the gameplay, but honestly, I hope it succeeds because I want a lot of those, small U's and small me's to get into trading cards, and then when they're 18 years
Yeah.
old, they're like, oh, it's Flesh and Blood. Damn, this
So,
artwork's good. I like this game.
but here's the flip side of that coin: is that
Yeah.
it's also that since Magic was the first of its kind, and since TCGs didn't really start until the 90s, this is really the first passing of a generation. So it's like, it's not good or bad. It's just not what I'm used to, and
Mm.
that's really all it is. Because now everyone that started playing TCGs in the 90s is, we're adults, and we still love those games. And I also think that it is good because a lot of us still play, and we play in different capacities.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I like about card games. Is like I started because I loved fantasy and I love dragons, and all the stories behind the card games. And then when I got into my late teens and my early 20s, then it was about getting really good and playing like top level competitive play. And now and then you start getting a little older, and you started looking into the financial side of things, and like,
Yeah.
it's a little like the giving tree,
Yeah.
TCGs, yeah,
And there's a path of life, and you just go on like each stage. It's like your caterpillar
yeah,
going into a butterfly. Yeah, I feel you
yeah.
there, man. And in this stage of your life, what made you want to make sketch comedy for Magic the Gathering and just trading cards in general? Like, have you always been that way, or did you just like, hey, I'm interested in this, want to try it out?
Well, I've always, been the class clown or whatnot, but so I've wanted to do sketch comedy for a long time. I don't have a ton of formal training, but I did spend a lot of time down in. I used to live in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and everybody that I knew down there was either writing or directing or doing something fancy. And a couple of my friends were in improv, like long form improv comedy troupes.
Hmm.
They were so freaking funny, man. That is one of the coolest art forms, I think. That if you're gonna go watch something, if I had to go see long form improv or like go to the Super Bowl, and I played football, so it's really so but yeah, so it's all comedy has always been something that like I've been interested in, and what made me want to start a channel for YouTube? Well, geez, man, we were locked in the house for
That's true.
for a long time. So like also as a musician, I used to go gigging around and playing shows or doing this and that, and mostly, for the bands that I play in, most recently, it's pop or folk rock, and but I like a lot of different kinds of music. So
That's cool, man.
it's really me just forcing all the things that I like into one channel for me.
Yeah. Well, no, I really like it,
TCG,
dude.
yeah,
You're really funny. And honestly, like the whole sketch type thing is really hard to do. I did a couple of videos about that, or like sketch things, and
yeah.
I felt like when you're doing them, it's hard to get into that mind space. Like I
It,
did this one where I opened Flesh and Blood packs, and I said,
yeah.
oh, I bought them off the internet and everything, and then I opened like a Pikachu and like all these like random Japanese cards. And I was like, you know what this means, right? Means Carta Monday screwed this up, just like
Yeah.
when it's obviously,
Yeah.
there's repack and stuff, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but it's harder. And speaking of repacks, Jimmy V's repacks are definitely worth their buck. I'll put a link down below. Uh, Dude, I love this shit. Like, I know this is like, you know, like I didn't talk to you about this before this, but your
No.
repacks are awesome, man. Like, I saw this and I was like, oh shit, it's from that one music
You got
video.
it
I was
from
like,
yeah,
yeah, it's
from Paper
one of a
Alchemy.
kind. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, Paper Alchemy. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, tell me how you thought about that, because that's really cool. And you sold a lot of those. So basically, just to explain to anyone viewing now, it's basically you're doing these repacks, and then sometimes you can get cards from your videos. So this was from Paper Alchemy, and I guess it's a one of one from your channel.
It
So
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
tell me
it
about it.
is. Well, so it all started because so for anyone who doesn't know, like my channel MTG Open MIC, I do a lot of different things on there. Sort of like a TCG Magic variety show. I do some Flesh and Blood stuff also. But I had a character who's sort of a finance guy,
I love it.
and his name is Jimmy V, and he gets up to all sorts of different shenanigans. And one of his bits is that he has these repacks that he sells, and and it started, the idea for that sketch came from, obviously, anyone who's been around repacks and Magic the Gathering or TCGs for any amount of time is familiar.
I got some straw. I was very lucky. You gave me a lot of straw in this one.
I had a complaint from one of the reviews that said they did not get enough straw, so I've been really trying to I've been really trying to improve the
Yeah, you don't want to bait and switch there. Like,
that's
say
right.
you're gonna
Yeah.
give all this straw and you don't. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess you up
No,
there.
yeah. So repacks,
Or a scam.
have your reputation of being a scam, and because they are a scam.
Yeah.
So I was, as a sort of a meme, and my joke is that this guy actually just sells garbage. So they are Jimmy V's super sick MTG repacks, and there's pictures of garbage, and to follow through with the joke, I actually, because I have an eBay store, I actually made a listing on my eBay store for these garbage repacks. And there's pictures of magic cards, like dual
Yeah,
lands,
dual
and
lands.
yeah, and the
Black
four
Lotus.
horsemen, yeah, and then like garbage cans, a Target bag, and some old headlights or whatever. So that was the sort of the gimmick. And Bad Boy, Joey Moss from Bad Boy Gaming, actually, one of the things that he does on his channel is buy repacks so you
Oh,
all
so
don't
you don't
have
have
to.
to?
Yeah, and he'll open them on his channel. So he had purchased, unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to him, some of my garbage repacks and opened them live on his channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Did
so
he get
that
anything
was,
good or?
I mean, he got a headlight.
Oh, that's
He got,
awesome.
he got I think a candy bar wrapper. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got I think a pack of Fallen Empires, and some
That's
other
cool.
stuff.
Yeah,
He
no,
didn't.
it's really fun. Like it's
Yeah.
just it goes along with the whole meme and the whole video, and you open it and you're like, wow, this is cool. And another thing that dude, I got one of your power taints signed. Like,
Oh, nice.
dude,
Yeah, dude, you got a sweet repack.
well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like how many of those exist out there? Because I think I saw like 30 of them in your videos. So I was like, oh, cool. It's like 1 out of 30. And that
No,
yeah.
yeah. I have a significant amount of power taints.
Nice. Well, dude, like that
Yeah.
video in particular, that was really, really well done. Like you just, it just the whole aspect. I think you were explaining in the beginning of this is the
Yeah.
whole dark side, and you kind of encapsulated that in
Yeah.
like a fun, just 80s rock like whole thing. What was your thought process around that video, and how did you like link all like the card names together? Because that was the most impressive part, is you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh shit, wait, these are card names. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like, when you've been playing Magic for as long as I have, it becomes like another dialect, sort of, So it kind of just, like there's a card in Magic called Final Fortune, where it's like, in the song, it's the song Power Taint. Power Taint is a card from Urza Saga that has a very nominal effect on the game. It's a very bad card. But the idea of the song is that with many nominal effects, you can create one large change. And the whole thing about the TCGs and everybody getting priced out of the market, and the Wizards, I know that there's inflation now, but they had been increasing prices like pretty aggressively even before that happened. So the idea of the song is that we, the people, are really the people that decide what what things
Yeah, you vote
cost.
with your wallet,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I always
So
thought it
yeah.
was because Power Taint was like balls, right? Was that the whole like
So
no?
Power Taint, Power Taint
Like hit him with
is, you know what the taint
yeah.
is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a double entendre there, but Power Taint actually, is, it's just taint the power. Like
Oh,
we have the ability, not only is it the name of the card, but is also, we have the ability to affect those in power in great numbers,
that's deep, man.
so we have, hit them with our power taint, we won't be paying their upkeep.
Upkeep.
And there's an upkeep on power taint.
Million
So,
strong, we won't be beat.
yeah, million strong, like the kobolds of Carekeep, and the kobolds are a 0/1 creature for 0 mana. Like, it doesn't get a lot worse, but there's no cost to the cobalt.
Yeah.
And in many numbers.
That is deep. Like my favorite punk band was Operation Ivy, and it has a
Yeah.
lot of depth. And I feel like there's so much depth into the verbiage of that. So it's just very brilliantly done, man. And just
It,
the level of quality of your content is just amazing. And what is it? You wrote the song with Rudy's video too, right?
yeah. So I did the Timmy Man
Yeah.
and also the Fab World, the Flesh and Blood song,
Oh,
um,
nice, man.
and the MetaZoo song to "We Didn't Start the Fire" also.
That's awesome. Like how long
Yeah.
did those take, and what were your process around that?
It's pretty fun working with Rudy.
I
I
bet.
like Rudy.
Yeah,
I
same.
don't care
Big
what I don't care
fans.
what I don't care what anybody says. Like n- anyone who says that Rudy's a scumbag is just probably a scumbag or ignorant and doesn't really know like what this guy has done for the game of Magic, for TCGs in general, for card stores across the country, for it's just I mean like to eat this is like this is happening right now, the Monarch like special that he's giving back to patrons who bought the kit from last year.
Yeah,
And I like, how cool is that? Like
that
I
is really
didn't
cool.
yeah, I personally didn't buy it, not because it wasn't a great deal, but because like I don't know, I feel like anytime I enter into an agreement, I know what that agreement is, and I agreed to pay the price that he was asking at the time, and it was a fair price at the time he was asking it. And just the fact that he is doing this at all, I
Oh
think
yeah.
is, but
No, no, I think
yeah,
it's great that he stands behind his brand, and that's what you see over time. It's just
yeah,
he felt bad about that situation where hypothetically there could be allegedly some type of rug pull by some organizations out there who had majority share of the product, and he was
yeah,
like, "Well, I didn't see this, and I feel bad that I, sold it at this price. I'm gonna make it right and close it out." Like, yeah, it's just a really class act, and yeah, I mean, just everything he's done for the TCG industry has been amazing. I mean, I'm a big fan. You're a big fan. Like,
yeah, and
really
not
cool
just for the
guy.
TCG, but like for me personally too.
Yeah,
It's he gives really good advice. Sorry,
yeah,
guys. He does, and there's a lot of things that I did differently after watching this video or that video, and so it's cool to to get to work with him, and that actually is how MTG Open Mic got started.
Oh wow.
Is also essentially can be attributed to Rudy in a lot of ways, because the first thing he had put a message out to his patrons is like, hey, I'm looking for a song. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, And then
Yeah,
I just, he had sent the link in the Patreon message of like what song he wanted, and and that's how he'll give a few bullets of like, hey, these are the types of things that I'm looking for. Um, and then I don't know, I was just humming it like the next day, and I was like, in like 2 hours, I had just like had, I had the whole thing.
that's
I was like,
amazing.
okay. I was like, okay, well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. So
So might as
now
well just do it.
let's let's get it recorded
Yeah,
and send it in. And
yeah,
that's what I
man.
told Rudy. I was like, dude, you gave me a chance to combine my three favorite things, which is comedy, magic, and music. I was just,
It doesn't
so
get
and
any
that
better than that.
Yeah, so and then it was really cool to see how people responded to I know no one really reads the description, but like just how people had responded to that song. So being able to see your work like exposed to a large audience that it is from someone that they know already, where that's the hardest part, as a musician for most of my life, like that's the hardest part, is finding people to just pay attention. You
Yeah.
know. Whether you're playing at a club or a bar or like whatever it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true because it's basically, that video went viral. I mean, the whole, and I think that was based off of like Flesh and Blood like preview type thing, right?
The Fab World.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for Monarch preview. Yeah.
Yeah, that video probably got like a ton of videos or a ton of views, just like big. That's huge, man.
And yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And
What's
but yeah,
What's the
what's
future of MTG Mike, you think? Like, so you're making a lot of really funny videos, man. Like, what do you have any like things that you're working on in the background that you're thinking like, oh, like this will be cool eventually? Like your music video, I feel is top notch. Like that could be on like television, like an
yeah,
MTV or something. Like, do you have any
you
type
know,
of things like that you're working on?
I am, yeah,
Yeah,
but those take time. Like, just to put it
I
in
bet.
perspective, power taint, from like writing to recording to pre-production to filming to post, easily over 100 hours for
Wow.
that one video. And like, people that play music like understand, and people that are in film understand. And for that one specifically, I brought in a good friend of mine who is a film teacher. He, we did the pre-production together. And since then, you can tell, like, I went into a studio, I recorded everything. I played the drums, I played, a lot of I sang all the stuff. Like, we did a lot of the um we had gang vocals. I mean, it was a so
Yeah,
like
it's quite a video.
that one. And so there are a few like big productions that where I brought in someone else to also, because the music aspect of it I'm pretty comfortable with on my own. But like, once we get to filming and like getting, I don't have like 17 different lenses, or
Yeah.
like, know exactly what shots I want before I get there, for the most part, because I just live life by the seat of my pants, pretty
I
much.
feel you. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't show in that video. I mean, it was really, I don't know. When I first saw that, I was like, whoa, what is this? This is crazy. Like, just the production value is insane. But,
Thanks, man. Yeah,
yeah.
it
Have
was
you
it
ever,
was fun. And then we had to get the whole game store in on it too, because
oh, yeah.
we had a bunch of people. So like, I handed out packs to anyone who who wanted to stick around and like be an extra in the video, and that was fun too.
What game store is that? Because you record there quite a bit, right?
Yeah. And they're
Give them a shout
actually
out.
in the process of moving. Yeah, but Outer Plains Comics and Games, like, phenomenal people, awesome store. And it's like, my song, I have another song just about the local game store that kind of speaks to my experience with local game stores and how they've affected my life, and how I'm sure they've affected others' lives. But they're really good people, and just like, they let me film there. They like being in the videos. And
It's awesome.
it's to the point now where it's like, sometimes they're co-producing them, or like, I'll come in and someone will be like, I just did one for the Streets of Capenna song, where that was the concept of that came from the one of the guys that gets shot in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, I know what we're gonna do for the booster box game for Streets of Capenna." I was like, "All right." So then they give me the pitch, and then I'll go flesh it out, and then we'll come in and film
Yeah,
it.
wasn't there like a bomb in the box or something, and the two people died, and then they
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, that was a good shit, man. No, like I really like that aspect because I think humor is so important, like especially with
Yeah.
virality, I feel like it's very important. And I don't know. Well, what do you think the most positive, encouraging stuff you've heard, like in the comments or stuff like that in your videos?
Yeah. People say to keep going.
Yeah,
Those are the best ones, because like, man, like, it's a lot of freaking work.
it is.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And it's like, we're not doing it because we're making a bunch of money. That's not why we're doing it.
Oh, you're not
It-
making thousands of dollars every month?
no.
Oh, let me,
So-
let me tell you, buy my CD. It's only $30.
yeah.
5 easy tips to make $1,000
Five,
content creating.
five easy tips.
Five
I
easy
was gonna.
tips.
I was
Jimmy
gonna.
V's
Jimmy V.
CD. 5 easy tips. Number 1, get a job. Jobs
Get
pay money. Number 2,
It's
live with your parents. The
live with
rent's
your
free.
parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, these are the kind of things that are gonna get a ton of views.
Number 3,
That
watch
this is
Rudy
golden.
videos
Watch
constantly in
Rudy
your
videos
free time and
in
soak
your
that
free
shit
time.
up. Yeah.
And
Anyway.
I drive a lot, so it's nice because I can just kind of catch up on content when I'm cruising around.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I don't
So
drive too much anymore, but yeah, I miss that. Just like listening to podcasts and stuff in the
yeah,
background.
because there's a lot of good stuff out there, and until I started, because last year at this time was really when I was picking up a camera for the first time, and
Oh, wow.
is and it was at that point I was like, holy shit, like this is what people are doing. Every time I watch a video, I'm like, and go, that was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't notice all the other stuff in the background, like they had to worry
Yeah,
about the lighting and the
yeah, the
frame and
lighting
the
and like the
yeah.
volume of the music as it's coming in and out, like
It's so
yeah,
true. Like I would do the same. And
yeah,
for some reason, man, have you ever tried to record yourself opening a booster box? It is the
yeah,
hardest thing
yeah,
I've ever like done. Like I
yeah,
hate it. I like to be
yeah.
nice and chill opening up, but you have to like, oh, what am I gonna comment
Like,
on this pack? Like let me
you're
make
like,
some bullshit comment about these cards that I don't care about. Like you just, and then if you fuck up, you can't. It's not like you can. Oh, let
yep,
me like put them back in the packs and seal the box up.
yeah,
Like, oh, jeez.
yeah. Box openings are tough. Like I had just, just videos, like going back to videos in general. Like I had just watched Rudy ramble perfectly without a single for like 27 minutes today. I was like,
That's
what is
wild.
going on? Just like he doesn't edit. Like
I don't.
I
I
just
try not to edit as much as possible because I'm
yeah,
lazy. But yeah, think like when I rewatch my verbiage, I think, oh crap, I said ums and ahs all the time throughout this. But hearing him talk, I agree. Once you've been in this type of scenario where you are content creating, you like pick up on that stuff so easy, and you
yeah.
see, oh, ums,
You
ahs, yep, and it's just,
you
it's
you've
insane
got a
how he does.
voice like a Christmas slipper. Just like this is
Me?
comfy. Yeah, in front of the fireplace with the hot chocolate. I'm just like just gonna hang out, listen to some Bronson, and everything's gonna be okay. Whatever was going on before kind of melts away.
Cheers,
Oh,
man. I love that.
yeah, and I like that you ask questions too, because like I'm a philosopher, like I'm always questioning everything that's going on around me. So like that was what drew me to your channel, and and that was I think before you even got the shout out from the R Man too.
Yeah, that was incredibly nice of him, but
That was and well deserved too. Like
oh,
I was like, oh yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you, along with that conspiracy. We're back into Flesh and Blood land here,
hmm
right? The Visceri is Rudy conspiracy, right?
yeah. I
This
mean,
is this is
it's a
Bronson's
good,
theory.
it's a good
It's a good theory.
conspiracy.
It's a great
I
conspiracy.
don't know how
But
true it is, but I mean, it just there's so many little evidences.
have you considered who Lindsay might be?
Who the hell's oh Visceri?
So Rudy's significant other, which is in some of his videos.
Yeah.
What's the crew legendary, the shapeshifter?
Oh, Shiana.
Shiana. So Shiana has a ring, right?
Uh huh.
That's as far as I got.
Yeah, I wanted to believe you, and I mean, maybe who knows?
But like, turn your Bronson, turn your Bronson vision on, and go back and see what you can dig up, because there's something there.
I'll just have to get my DMT out and my whiskey. Like face plant my face and no, I'll
Yeah,
look into that. I mean,
yeah,
who knows, man? Then that's what is going into Flesh and Blood land, which is a good land. Is there's so much
great land.
depth. There's so much depth to the artwork and everything that like that you
Yeah,
print. It's just really nice to see that there's just a lot of like creative minds behind it. It's just it's a great spot, man.
it's it's an awesome game, and
Yeah.
like again, as someone who's dabbled in TCGs since 1994, this is the first time that like I actually went out of my way to like go really get into a game and learn it, build decks, bring others into the fold, like go teach other people how to play. Now we've got Tuesday nights at Outer Plains Comics and Games where we play, just play some Blitz, play some CC, and I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I really was gonna try and make it to Vegas. There's a
Oh, this
team
year?
there's a team Blitz tournament in Vegas, which is like a pre-release for Uprising, June 10th, 11th, and 12th, I believe.
Oh, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, I went to the one for not Everfest. The other one.
Monarch?
No, not Marnet. The one in between.
Oh, Tails.
Tails. Yeah. I don't know why
Tails.
that escaped me,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was there for that event. It was really cool, man. So many people packed in
I saw like a bunch of
thing.
videos. Yeah, looked
Yeah.
rad. I was sad, but
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in person one of these days at one of
yeah,
those
it'll be
conventions,
fun.
man. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, the game's awesome and what is it? It's really cool. When I make content, I like to make people think. Like
Yep.
I'm not
Same.
telling people
Yeah.
I'm right and you're wrong. It's more of like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a scenario. This is how I see it. What do you think?
Yeah.
There's so many different, you know, perspectives that you can have. And a lot of times I don't know a lot of shit. Like I'm not a game store. I'm not
Yeah.
distro. I'm not Legend Story Studio. So it's great hearing a bunch of people in the comment section just say like, "Hey, I think you didn't look at this like this," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a great perspective." There's so much
Yeah.
information gained if you keep your mind open and just listen to
Yeah.
things in the world. But overall, it's great to also have times where you watch funny videos, and that kind of can make a a point as well without having to,
That's what I
explain
tr-
it in depth.
that's what I try to do. But
Yeah.
and for some people they'll get it, and for some people they won't. And the hope is that whether you do or you don't, that you're entertained, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name of the
That's
game.
yeah. But it's a learning process. But I'm so far still having fun doing it, and as I assume you are as well.
Oh yeah, just getting the
Yeah.
time is just really tough, but
Yeah.
yeah, just creating
Yeah.
in general is very rewarding. There's a lot of
Yeah.
intangible wealth,
Yes.
I like to say.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I notice is just like goal setting,
Hmm.
where it's like I try and set, and I'm married. I have a full time job, and like
Same.
trying to do yeah, trying to do 2 videos a week is like my goal. So and then every time I make a video, you know, you achieve a little goal and feels good that you achieved a goal. So it's like, and then the longer I can continue to do that, maybe if I want to do a third one, okay. But I try and hold myself to two. And for the most part, I've been able to do that, and it's been almost a year now.
Yeah, it's crazy how time flies, right? And you start
Yeah.
something and you just keep on it, and that's a good idea. I need to do a goal thing like that. I don't really do that. I think I try to have a video every like 3 days or so, but sometimes I slip up. But also having like content in the background. Do you do that? Like basically, you'll make a video and you're like, okay, I'm scoring this away for when I need it in the future. Like that's really
I sh-
helped me.
I should
Yeah.
I should, but I am usually it's like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh crap, I need a video for tomorrow, and then I'm going to bed at like 4:30 or
Yeah.
5 in the morning. Because like once I get in the zone, then I'm like excited about making it, and I'm like, oh, what would actually be better if I did this, this, and this, and then like an idea that started here ends up like way more time consuming than I had initially intended it to be.
That's cool, man. No, like, and I feel you with that recently. Like, I haven't really had too much backlog. I've just been like, oh shoot, I haven't made a video in like 2 or 3 days. Probably should, stay up like late,
Yeah.
because with a job and being married, yeah,
Yeah.
like the only time I can record is really like 12 to like 4 a.m. in the morning. So,
Yeah.
well, Like, yeah.
That's
But once you get
exactly
into the
right.
groove,
Yeah.
I'm totally with you, man.
Yeah.
It's just the space where
Yeah.
like you want to be creative, you want to just pump out, your content. But
Starting is
yeah,
the hardest part. And I have a lot of ideas, and it's like sometimes I get overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, I can't decide what I want to do, or it like seems like there's so. But really, I'm the only one that's in charge of whether it gets done or not. So that is also something that I like, is being able to just have a little space that's I'm in control over, and I decide like what comes out, what doesn't come out. If it's good or bad, secondary.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I feel you that way. It's like
Yeah.
your own little space of creativity, and you can do whatever you want, and it's
Yeah.
just a lot of autonomy of it, and just it's really cool to see people's reactions at the end of the day. It's really gonna be cool later on in life, to be like, oh, I did that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
didn't
hope
just
so.
sit on my ass and
Yeah.
eat Cheetos and play video games too much. It's like I also
Yeah.
did this thing out there that is gonna be there, but yeah.
Fun fact for everybody. You can eat Cheetos and do this.
Oh,
I
told
wish
me
I just
this.
had some Cheetos here. It would have
Yeah.
been perfect.
This video is sponsored by Cheetos.
My Cheetos, yeah.
That'd be
So
fun.
tell me, I'm curious to
Mhm.
change gears here for a
Yeah.
second. What do you think about all the bans happening in Flesh and Blood?
I don't think it's like fake news. Like like if you see a lot of the bands like Autumn's Touch, it's like there's
Yeah.
no dialogue or anything. It's just when you have that card in Oldhim, it makes it so he's like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just a light nerf. Honestly, you know, we've gone through about 6 sets right now. I think the ban list is like less than 10 cards. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I just really hope that when they do bans in the future, um, it's communicated what they are before like a big event, so that if
Sure.
people are trying to like play around certain decks, and they want to understand what the meta is so that they build around that. So you don't want to get like a week ahead of like a major event, and then there's a ban of, oh well,
Yeah.
this is banned, and then you have to like totally like scrap your deck idea, or revamp. But
Yeah.
overall, I don't think it's too bad. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think they should just ban the crap out of whatever they want.
Yeah.
And let me explain my thought process there is that, like, and this goes for Magic too, but like for Flesh and Blood especially, James White has like a super competitive background, right?
Hmm.
He's literally the reason that a lot of cards got banned when he was playing competitive TCGs.
Oh wow.
And I just think that, like, no matter, well, they didn't play test enough, and you know barring the Runeblade weapon that they literally said we didn't play test this at all. um, no amount of playtesters is going to compete with a human hive mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you release the cards for. Like, the literal job of a TCG player is to break the cards that you are given.
Yep.
That's like literally your job. Is like, you're
For a
supposed to do
competitive
that.
player, yeah.
And if you do it well enough, then the game has to respond. So it's like, yeah, I get you need to play test and make sure that it's not super easy, but like, if no one ever is breaking anything, A, people aren't thinking, or B, it's
Yeah.
like just not it's just it's supposed to
It's
happen.
supposed to be, yeah, people are supposed
Yeah.
to find that to win tournaments and like get
Yeah.
an edge on it. Yeah. And another thing to consider too is a lot of it is just flavor of the month. Like the Briar
Yeah.
deck that was so, popular. It was popular because it won a couple big tournaments, and then everyone started to play it. So the great players in Flesh and Blood all
Yes.
started playing the same deck. It's not like,
Yeah.
if they chose different decks to play, maybe they would have gotten into,
Yeah.
one with those instead of Briar, but because everyone was on Briar, then that happened. Same with this whole Starvo deck. It's the same thing where like uh, it won a couple big tournaments, and then everybody started playing it, and then it just kept winning and winning, winning. I think that's what we're mainly seeing in this current time. But yeah, ban is not too bad, especially with the cards in Flesh and Blood being good for whenever. You buy cards in
Yeah.
2020, They're good
Yeah.
for until they get banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool, like a cool evolution of the game. And I get that there's some feel bads when you like go out and buy, especially if it's like an expensive legendary and something like that. But
Yeah. But
it's
overall,
like
it's good.
man, you you purchase a car, you can put gas in the car. No one likes buying gas for the car, but like you need the car to drive. And that's probably my third worst analogy that I've made in
I
my
feel you.
recent memory. But you know what I mean? It's like you kind of signed up for this thing. This is what a TCG is. That's part of the game.
Yeah,
That's
it's definitely
that's
part of
my
it,
two
and
cents.
it's
Yeah.
really no big deal at the end of. Man, I'm gonna be amazed in like 5 years how many different classes and options you have with deck
I know.
building and different heroes. Like this
This like
game's only been out
yeah.
for 2 years. Like there's gonna be so many different options. It's gonna be really crazy to see how things like evolve in the future. But oh man, there's so much for the game.
I will say that it does take a lot of upkeep. Like every set is a whole new freaking world that you have to like wrap your head around, and every card is like full of conditions and you know if this then that but if and it's like I always tell my friends is that Flesh and Blood conceptually is very simple. It's a very simple game system. But
Hmm.
like the main difference, when these are people that are coming from Magic, when I'm teaching them, is that like you jump into Flesh and Blood at like turn 9 of a Magic game. It's like turn 1 is like, because there's no
Build up.
resource. Yeah, there's no resource buildup. You're just 0 to 60 in 0 seconds. And so like when there's sometimes just that barrier of entry of like, okay, turn 1, let's track 12 things that are happening right now. I need to know what every single one of your equipment does. I need to know what every single piece of my equipment does. I need to know that I can play every single card in my hand. So there's a lot of things to track right off the bat. But I do think the game is really well balanced. I think that all the different flavor they've been able to like inject into every different class has been really impressive so far. Like especially like Prism and I really like shoot, what's Lexi? It's sort of
Yeah,
sort
Lexi's
of
really good.
sort of my jam right now.
Are you
I
doing
was
the what is it, snapshot type thing with Death
uh
Dealer? That's a cool combo.
no, no, I'm still on the New Horizons with Valkyrie or whatever
Oh, nice.
the where you can
Yeah, put a
so
bunch of
you
stuff in
can
your arsenal.
yeah, you give it +1 or go again for every time an arrow comes in there.
Oh, nice.
But like because the game is so tightly balanced, I'm really curious because like not next year, not the year after, but like in other card games, because of the way that their resources work, you can have cards that say, if you resolve this spell, essentially you win the game.
Yeah.
You can't have that in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, you don't have that in Flesh and Blood yet, but
So
there probably won't be.
right, because everything you can play everything every turn so far. So I mean
Yeah.
they've been really innovative so far. So like I foresee them like needing to find a way to um store up some sort of resource over the point of the game where like certain cards can only be played when this resource has been stored to a certain level or something like that, because that's my one long-term concern, is that because the game's so tightly balanced, is that you are going to have more bans than you might in some other games,
Mm.
because it's just like
Yeah, because you
every
can't have.
every every game you play. Yeah.
Yeah, because if Magic the Gathering, for instance, had every card in the game can be used, in modern
Right.
now, the ban list would be like, a 80,000, card list.
Yeah.
You like well, not that many, but it would be insane because, and I think the talent system in Flesh and Blood is really what, differentiates it, whether it's ice or fire, or earth. Like whatever the element is kind of like making the okay, only these types of heroes can use these types of cards. I
Yeah.
think that really differentiates it because I think Welcome to Wrath through, Crucible War had a lot of generics, but now it seems like we're given more cards that aren't generics. It just can be used for like a certain thing. But it'll be really neat in the future. The thing I'm looking forward to, man, is like multi-class. Like, can you imagine like a ninja and a guardian hero? Like, you could
A
have ninja
Ninja
and guard,
Guardian?
dude, yeah, or like ninja and
Th-
like a sorcerer. Like, it'd be,
No, I want a Ninja Guardian.
yeah, ninja
This
guardian would be
the
cool.
stealthy sledgehammer.
Yeah. It's a sledgehammer. It has like a dagger on the opposite end. Like, stab them. Yeah.
No, yeah, that would be sweet. And that I think that's sort of the Shiana what they were kind of going for with the Shiana, but falls a little short than what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and you could do this similar thing. Like, I think Shiana just doesn't really have an ability, right? Like, you can do that with a
Right.
normal hero and just say, hey, like, they don't have an ability, but they can use these two class cards. It'd be really cool to see, like, the different
Yeah.
combos and things they do together, man. But yeah, man, I really appreciate the time talking today. And
Yeah.
I know it was last minute. Is there anything you want to mention before we close out? But I just want to, plug your
I
channel, MTG Open Mic, the
MTG
best
Open MIC
source for MTG and Flesh and Blood repacks
for
and MetaZoo, whatever you want, and straw if you have straw needs. But yeah, man,
you will
honestly,
get straw. You will
yeah,
get straw.
there were complaints in the past, but the straw deficit has
It's
been
it's been resolved.
alleviated.
The straw issues going forward. Plenty of straw.
Yeah.
It's got a new shipment in. Yeah, no, Bronson, thank you so much. Like I love your content as you know, and really awesome to be on. I'm glad that we could work it out. And yeah, keep making content, man. It's fun. Yeah, I'll be over at MTG Open Mic doing weird shit. So come say hi.
Yeah,
And
thanks, man. And what is
yeah.
it? Thanks for the intro song. I'll definitely play it in the beginning of this episode.
Oh
I
yeah,
You
that's
made
right.
that for me a very long time ago, and I hope you know that I really appreciate that. Like when I opened that, I was like,
No, yeah.
"Oh shit, I've got an intro song. This is awesome. I don't have to like
It
look
kind
for
of
like royalty-free music. Like this is awesome."
yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
yours.
Yeah.
It's and again that goes back to like how I feel when I sit down to listen to one of your videos. It's just like sit back and relax.
Yep.
Um,
Well, cheers, man.
all
Talk soon.
right, man. Take it easy.